3.
Month 5, week 3. This week we'll be looking into the question of proteins and making some new recipes. So Francis, where do proteins come in?
All right, well, you know, we're hearing more and more research talking about plant-based protein. And the reason for that is because we are faced with a big dilemma today. Since the agricultural revolution, actually, we've been shying away from, well, shying away. I would love to say shying away, but there's a lot of controversy both with protein coming from dairy and red meat. And the reason for that is our environment. Pollution, acid rain, poor soil, overly fed, poorly fed, injected cows and other animals have resulted in just poor production, overproduction, but meats that are filled with antibiotics and hormone injections and all these things. So people are A, not doing well digesting this stuff, and B, we're realizing more and more and more that we don't need that much protein.
Mm-hmm. That's a change in perspective.
Totally, but it's been coming for a long time. It's just that some people have been paying attention, others haven't been. And only when trouble starts with a lot of indigestion, which I'm going to talk about soon, gas, etc., and people finding that why are they suddenly diagnosed with osteoporosis when they've been consuming dairy? Well, if there was a lot of calcium still in our dairy, they wouldn't be diagnosed with osteoporosis. And then I wanted to talk about lactose. Why all of a sudden are all these kids lactose intolerant? It's because the protein in the milk and the dairy, called casein, is way too high. So all of that is not necessary. We're learning and experiencing more and more that the protein coming from a plant is really what we need.
Good. Yeah. Which goes very well with this month's challenge, which is Eat Your Greens. So tell us a little bit more how we can get our proteins from plants.
Well, when we eat a variety of foods, whole foods, synergistically, we are able to get what we need. All of the protein, the calcium, the magnesium, all of these nutrients all at once, because each one, it's like a family. They all need each other. When we eat at least 8 to 10 vegetables together, that gives us a complete protein. It's a lot of protein. You can compare that amount of protein to eating a chicken breast, nice piece of fish, or what have you. Also, whenever I make...
That's what people really have a hard time believing and understanding, that actually, because we've never been taught that protein really can come from plants.
Absolutely.
So there may be some kind of a little bit of a mental barrier about accepting that. And so the key, I think, that the idea that people have is that, eggs and meat, fish are complete proteins, whereas plants are not. And that's why you say when you combine 8 or 10 of them, you end up with a complete
More
protein.
of a complete protein for sure. And don't forget, there's protein in hemp. There's other ways that we can even add more protein. But again, protein is as only good as how you're going to digest that protein. So people can keep eating meat and so on, but at the end of the day, when it's not digesting well, what are they benefiting? They're not benefiting, they're actually harming themselves.
Meat also takes a long time to digest, doesn't it?
It's a long time to digest. It's a big thing. It's a big, huge animal. It's a big, huge structure. You bet. And talking about, I know you wanted to mention intestinal gas and indigestion and so on. So what happens when protein isn't broken down properly? It sits, it's very hot inside our intestine. You know, we have 6 feet of bowel. It's very hot and humid down there, and this protein will ferment. Ferment, creating toxins, creating all kinds of problems. So I also like to talk about transit time. You know, we should be eliminating 3 to 4 times a day. So we eat a meal, within an hour we should feel the urge to go. So when you think of all the time that people have problems with that and don't go enough, what happens to what's sitting inside our body? So
that's what it's doing, is it's sitting inside.
It's sitting and rotting and fermenting, creating toxins. Terrible. Plants digest easier, break down easier, especially the fiber that you get when you eat salad, fiber that you get from the fruit, helps so much with that elimination process.
Also, for those who have a little more challenge and or whose system is getting used to digesting these type of plants, there's the whole chopping thing, cutting them up into small, just like the blender chops it up and makes it easier to digest. The same thing is if you're going to make a salad, you cut them the different vegetables into smaller pieces. It's just easier for the body to digest.
Yeah, you know, and when I give a recipe out to people, I make it a big recipe. I say, make the salad, let it last for a few days. Stick it in the fridge and then you have it. Don't make a salad just because for one meal. Yeah, for sure. That helps.
That's good. So what about exercise?
Well, exercise is key. I mean, it's not only what you eat, it's how you move. And the more the more you age, not that the more you have to exercise, but I like to say the more intensely you have to exercise. You have to work your muscle. You have to, that's what you have to do. You have to try and add a little bit of intensity to your workouts for sure.
For sure. And the other thing is there's this whole idea that proteins build muscle. So what about the need for protein and exercise?
Well,
is that true?
Yes and no. You need protein for the growth and repair of tissue at the cellular level, for sure. And that's why I emphasize all these vegetables.
Yeah.
That's where to get your protein. There's nothing wrong with eating a bit of fish. There's nothing wrong with anything as long as you know how you're doing. How are you digesting?
Not only that, as we age, we don't really need to eat more protein. We need to do more exercise.
Yes. Yes.
But if you're actually going to if you're going to exercise, then a great time to have your protein is right after your exercise or within, an hour and a half of your workout.
Yeah, you have a window of up to 90 minutes to have a combination of protein and carbs for sure. And that's when you can get away with perhaps eating a little bit more, but that's when you need to give back. You need to give back. You mean
give back? You've made an effort. You've used up some of your energy. And this is a way to give it back.
Exactly.
So here today we're going to make a smoothie with a plant-based protein.
Yes, we didn't talk about that. We were emphasizing the salad, but another way to get more protein, if that's what you would like and feel that you need, is by adding some protein, plant-based protein to a smoothie, for sure. And we do that.
Regularly.
We can do that regularly. Exactly.
So let's say you have a workout, and then after your workout, you can make it before, you can bring it with you, you can drink your smoothie after your workout. So you prefer these plant-based proteins. This one's made from brown rice, amaranth, quinoa, millet, and pumpkin seed. And it's sprouted. What does that mean?
I prefer that one because it is sprouted. It means you still have the life.
The enzymes are still active.
Nothing's isolated. Everything is, again, synergist. There's a synergist there. It's together.
Yeah.
So we're getting all these nutrients in at once. I feel the best time to have something like this is after your workout. It is heavy, and it'll be too much to eat before you work out. So definitely after is the best time for sure.
So let's make one.
All right, good.
Okay, let's make a smoothie with plant-based protein powder.
So I'm going to add a pear, half a pear actually.
We're putting in a half a pear.
I like pears because it gives that little bit of, almost like a creamy-like texture. We'll put a piece of kale in this one.
Pears are quite alkaline, aren't they?
All fruits and vegetables are alkaline. There is a bit of confusion when it comes to that because, for example, let's talk about a lemon. A lot of people, or acid-type fruits like oranges and grapefruits, they are acid in taste and they're an acidic fruit, but the minute they enter our bodies, they become alkaline.
Great.
Yeah.
So like you were saying before, we were created alkaline. So that's why fruit and vegetables are just so good for us because they provide us with that type of food. Do you want one scoop?
One scoop's good.
One scoop's good. There we go.
All right.
Zit, zit, zit. That's what we're going to do. While Francis is, let's see how noisy that is, because maybe it's too noisy. It's down here.
It was noisy.
It was noisy. So Francis has also today come up with a vitality salad, which is, do you want to taste that? I'm not really...
we can wait.
We can wait.
give it a
Yeah,
wait.
that's a good idea. So our vitality salad recipe today consists of, we're not going to make it for you, but we're going to tell you what goes into it. So finely chopped arugula, which is here, black kale here, and spinach, red cabbage, yellow and red peppers, grated beet. Whoops, there's a beet over here. A grated beet. Now, Francis also puts in a grated turnip. We don't have one here today. Here there's some tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, hemp seeds, chia seeds, dulse, seaweed, which is seaweed, nutritional yeast. So we mix all of these things, make a very large salad. So what's the purpose of the dulse?
Well, the dulse is an excellent food for the thyroid. You know, the thyroid really requires iodine, or as in sea vegetables, and it's impossible to really get that. So dulse is ideal. I love that dulse. It actually comes from the Gaspé, and
it's a seaweed. Dulse is a seaweed.
Yeah. So how you would use that is you would. It comes in large strips.
Shall we look at
Let's
one?
look at. Let me show you. Yeah.
Oh, okay, there you go.
All right. So you would cut this into smaller little strips and mix it in the salad. Another nice way to use dulse is if, for example, you know, when the green and yellow beans come out in the summer, they're so delicious.
Yeah.
If you lightly steam them, well, you can add strips of dulse in the steamer, and it gives a nice aroma and a little bit of dulse just tastes salty.
Yeah.
Gives you that
From the
extra little
seed.
salt. It's fantastic.
Must be full of minerals.
Dulse is full of iodine. Yeah.
And the nutritional yeast is vitamin B's, I think.
It is, and B12 to be exact, and it has a cheesy flavor.
Yeah, I love it.
Really, really nice.
Yeah.
Your urine will get a bit of yellow, but don't be concerned.
It's good.
And you know the hemp is extra protein.
Yeah, and omega-3s. And the beets will make your pee red, so don't worry.
That's true. So you have a combination there, a little bit of everything.
Good. So go ahead and try these healthy, delicious recipes and food. Thank you, Francis.
My pleasure.
Once again, you're really giving us all kinds of interesting information.
That's wonderful.
Things that we don't know that much about. So
That's excellent. Great.
thank you.
Okay.
All right. Are you starting to like your vegetables yet?